and at 20 years old, I commit to becoming a full-time insurance agent. A lot of you are gonna say, dude, I can't start a business. I can't make money. I'm a college kid. I'm in school. I got homework. I got Thirsty Thursdays, whatever my team thinks that that's called now, okay? I can tell you, I didn't go to Thirsty Thursdays, all right? I'm gonna just keep it real, okay? Where I went is to the office to make some money. And so at 20, in 8 months, first 8 months of my career, I made $117,391.13 cold door knocking to sell life insurance door to door. Thank you. All right, good morning, good morning. Who's awake today? Okay, I'm used to speaking about 100 times a year to a bunch of insurance agents, and so I was talking to our team this morning. I said, okay, how many agents have registered for this event? And they're like, dude, they're students. What are you talking about? Okay, so who's here because you want to learn how to build a personal brand, or you have interest in influencer marketing, or you at least have interest in how that works, or it wouldn't be bad if your social media grew over the next decade, by show of hands, okay? Help me out, good. I can tell you the more you participate, the better I will be today, okay? And I can tell you, I believe the first step to success is showing up, as Landon said, which you've done. You're here. Now, once you get in the room, I think it's powerful and important to be in the front of the room. Think about that, okay? That's what I believe. And then after you're getting in the room and then you're in the front of the room, then the third thing that's really powerful is you're here to get an idea. You may not know what the idea is yet, but you are here because you want an idea that helps you in your career. Yes? Yes? There we go. Yes? Okay, think about that, right? You're here to get an idea. What is the idea? You may not know what the idea is yet, but I can promise you, you're going to get one. And as long as you're committed to getting an idea today and finding it, and being committed to finding it, you will end up getting an idea that will help you later in your career. But you gotta be focused, you gotta pay attention, you gotta take notes, and you gotta be open to additional opportunities. I wanna go through my story really quick. My father's been in the insurance industry 32 years. I got started in the, who likes my branded 8% Nation mask, by the way, okay? We're talking about personal branding, right? I got a branded mask on. I got a branded wristband on, says accept responsibility, 8% Nation. Got branded pop sockets. I forgot to wear my branded socks. Like when you have a business, when you have a brand and you want to get attention, those things are really important. So I got started in the insurance industry at 19 as an intern. I believe getting in the room of the businesses that you want to eventually maybe be a part of. Some of you are like, dude, like who's doing an internship? Who's done an internship? Or who's going to do an internship? Okay, cool. Getting in that room may benefit you in the future, and it probably will, but it doesn't mean that you're committing to working for that company, right? It means you're committed to learning and developing and become a better human being. So because of that, I was an intern, I was in the insurance office. I was also going to Little Baptist Bible College here on the north side of town, Springfield, Missouri. I was playing basketball there, not quite as impressive as playing over there, but you know, I was playing there. So as a full-time student athlete, I was taking 20, 21 credit hours a semester, quite a few semesters, and playing basketball, practices, games, tournaments, weekends, all that. Transition, later I'm 20, and at 20 years old, I commit to becoming a full-time insurance agent. A lot of you are gonna say, dude, I can't start a business. I can't make money. I'm a college kid. I'm in school. I got homework. I got Thirsty Thursdays, whatever my team thinks that that's called now, okay? I can tell you, I didn't go to Thirsty Thursdays, all right? I'm gonna just keep it real, okay? Where I went is to the office to make some money. And so at 20, in 8 months, first 8 months of my career, I made $117,391.13 cold door knocking to sell life insurance door to door. Who thinks that sounds exhilarating and extremely exciting to go cold door knock? Like literally houses to sell life insurance. Talk about when people die, their family gets paid. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, there was one, which surprised me, which is cool. So then I sold for several years. But I always had a passion for seeing other people win. I remember I had a manager years ago that said, hey, Cody, can you come up to northern Missouri? Can you drive 4 or 5 hours to northern Missouri and help 2 insurance agents up there? They're in their late 20s. They're not making any money. They're not making any sales. They're not successful at all. Can you help them get to another level? Can you help them hopefully not quit? And I'm like, I have no idea what I would teach them, but sure, I'll drive up there and help them. So I drove 4 or 5 hours northern Missouri, helped them make some sales, drove home. The purpose of that story is the whole way home, I'm like, man, I've found what I want to do for the rest of my life. Some of you, whether you're 18 or 24, you may not know what you want to do for the rest of your life. Who currently is sitting here, you're like, dude, I don't know that I'm sure or positive by show of hands. I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I'm not positive that I know what I want to do for the rest of my life as of right now, okay? That's what happens a lot of times too, where a lot of society expects you at literally 18, 19, 20 years old to know what you want to do for the rest of your life, right? But you don't always know that. But what I knew is, in my early 20s, I wanted to help others succeed at a higher level and win and make money. So, fast forward, December of 2015, I started a YouTube channel called Cody Askins. We now have 53,000 insurance agents subscribed to our channel that watch our content on a daily basis. We put up videos every single day. Dylan is my personal video guy in the back, right in the middle. He's getting all this on recording right now as I'm mic'd up. And I started that channel, and who's kind of scared of being on video? Or you at least care what other people think, or you're not sure if you turned your camera on what you would say. Be honest. Okay? Okay, cool. I was in the same boat, by the way. Because in that moment, I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, but here's what I want you to think about. You need to figure out how can you bring value to the world. If you're taking notes today, how can I bring value to the world? And make an impact around the world. And you're going to hear me talk big about doing stuff around the world, et cetera, because I'm always I'm trying to think bigger constantly. So when we were talking to the staff here before, they're like, man, this is a good turnout. 150 people registered. This is cool. This is exciting. I'm like, well, maybe we can fill Hammond's Arena next time. Right? That'd be cool. There's enough students here. How can you bring value to the world? Second, what niche are you going to bring value to? Whether you say niche or niche, I don't know. I'm originally born in Arkansas, so I'm going to say a lot of things incorrectly. It's all right. What niche do you want to bring value to? I believe riches are in the niches. Okay? Also, what is an untapped area of that niche that you want to try to bring value to? So, for example, I noticed that there wasn't anyone on YouTube in the insurance industry that had a massive following. In the industry, massive is like 50,000, 100,000, whatever, okay? In the grand scheme of things, nobody knows who Cody Askins is. Very few of you knew who I was today. But the point is, I'm focused on a niche. I don't care if you know me, I care if they know me. So because of that, I've been putting up videos for almost 6 years. December will be 6 years. The first 12 months, I had 351 subscribers after 12 months and hundreds of videos, which is freaking horrible, okay? It sucks. But the point of it is, I didn't stop. I kept at it. Far too many people don't end up getting what they want in life, whatever you want in life, because they quit 3 feet from gold. They quit just before things start getting good. Recently, I had to speak in the Bahamas, and then I had to go speak in Dominican Republic. Well, to get over to Dominican Republic the same day for a separate event, I had to go back to Miami. I had to spend the night. I had to check my bags. I had to get tested again, all this other stuff. And I'm like, dude, I can't do that. I'll miss my speaking engagement if I do that. So I haven't done this a lot, but we private chartered a jet from Bahamas to Dominican. And when I got there, I walk out and my driver is there. And he's like, dude, I went to my boss to see if you were the Cody Askins that I thought you were, because I actually have an insurance license and I watch all your videos constantly. And I'm not sharing that talk about me. I'm sharing that because that's the power of personal brand influencer marketing. I kind of thought the guy was messing with me at first, so I started quizzing him on what videos he liked, and he was actually legit. But think about that, right? Like that's not a bad thing, right? Here's how you get better at personal branding and influencer marketing. Number 1, be persistent. Whatever message you want to bring, be persistent with that message. Consistent, constantly. Number 2, be vulnerable. Like a lot of okay, who has a TikTok and who currently puts TikToks up? Okay, all right, a few. I think there's a few more that just don't want to admit it, okay? That's all right. Be vulnerable. You trip down the stairs when you're on video, put it up anyway. It'll probably go viral. It'll probably do better than the perfect video of you walking through your house. Like that's really what's happening in our world is people want, which is what's last, they want authenticity, so be authentic. Right? People want to be people that are persistent, because what happens is when you persist over time, they're like, man, dude, at first they make fun of you. They're like, other people's opinions, right? They're like, this person's weird. They're putting up videos of themselves. They're calling themselves CA, and they're doing a conference, all their stuff. That's weird. But then later they're like, man, I doubted that person, and they're really starting to take off. They're really starting to do something big, and they've at least persisted, so maybe they're more legit and serious than I thought they were. And then along the way, you got to be vulnerable. Because being vulnerable, I mean, a lot of times what I struggle with the most is I own like 8 companies now, and we have stuff happen every single day that I don't want to talk about, right? Like employees leaving, they've been with me for 3 years, our company getting sued for something ridiculous, right? Like all these things that are happening in our world that mentally affect me. I don't want to share those things. But for me to be vulnerable and authentic, I think I should share those things. True? But a lot of times we don't want to share those things. But maybe we should. We're doing a 10-city roadshow right now where we're going to 10 different cities. I'm trying to scale our conference. I always ask myself a question. If I want to achieve X, what do I need to do? So a whiteboard exercise for you could be, what do I want for my life? What do I want my life to look like? Some of you are like, dude, I don't know, I'm 20. Well, you're going to be 60 before you know it. You're going to look back and say, or 31, or really old like Landon at 37. You're going to look back and say, dude, where did my life go? The most successful people in the world intended on the success that they got. Whatever it looks like. Whether that means being the director of marketing in a massive organization, right? Doesn't mean you have to do sales or own your own company or build your own business. But they intended on the success that they got. I write down my goals every single morning. If you're serious about doing something big in the world or achieving whatever goals you want to set out for yourself, you need to remind yourself every day what they are. Okay? You're not hearing this talk a lot here as a college student, by the way. You're not hearing, hey, write down your goals every day. You're not hearing, hey, do this and do that. But I'm telling you, you start studying the most successful people on the planet. What do? Well, they don't sleep in. They work out every day. They write down their goals. And if everybody's running out of a burning building, they're probably running in it. So, when everyone's not sitting in the front, dude, sit in the front. Okay? Because why? I promise you it'll pay off later. Because I sat in the front recently at a conference, and I met a gentleman that owns like $600 million in apartments. And now he's teaching me real estate. So should I have sat in the front or should I have sat in the back? You tell me. On this 10-city roadshow, we're learning, and I'm really learning constantly, is how important a team is. You have to surround yourself with the right people. If you have people in your life that are just constantly negative to you, or they constantly doubt things that you're wanting to do, cut them out of your life. Like you control. Everybody always hears your network is your net worth, right? The people you spend the most time with will impact your future the most. Kelly's our director of operations. Okay, Kelly, there you go. And then Cassidy's our director of events right here for our Cody Askins at 8% brand. Then we got a bunch of amazing security marketing team members here. You need to be around great people. How does that apply to you if you're like, dude, I don't want to start my own company? Do you enjoy the company you're with? Do they have the career opportunities that you really want to see? What does that look like? Because it can tell you surrounding yourself with the right people is important. If you're at a company in the future and they are not talking about vision and they're not pushing to be bigger and they're not rewarding you and they're not allowing opportunity for you to grow in the company, find somewhere else. I'm not saying you got to join security marketing. I'm saying you need to be somewhere you're happy with great people that want to do something big. So who wants to talk a little social media real quick? Okay. Couple of us, okay? Who wants to talk a little social media real quick by show of hands, okay? Who has social media? Let's see. Oh, I think everybody. Okay, good, okay? First, early on I focused on YouTube, then I focused on Facebook, Now we're heavily focused on Instagram. And I believe our two biggest opportunities, if you want to organically grow and start from scratch, I believe two of the biggest opportunities to organically grow and build a following are TikTok and LinkedIn. From an organic standpoint, they have the best organic reach. Now, I believe YouTube is better. I would rather have 100,000 followers on YouTube than 1 million on TikTok, okay? I just would. But I do know that if you're wanting to build a personal brand, get involved in influencer marketing, or even help companies with their social media, like everything I'm saying, you can take it from a different angle, by the way. I'm used to speaking to salespeople and entrepreneurs and business owners, but that doesn't mean that something I say you couldn't use even if you don't want to be that. We will, if you want to follow our social media, we will be at 100,000 followers on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, all within the next probably 180 days. Okay, so if you want to watch the journey and the evolution of someone growing their following, that would be a good way to do it. I got a couple questions for you, okay? Would you rather have $1 million or 1 million followers? 1 million followers, okay. Who agrees? It's Nick, right? Okay, we only know that because we met at Char. Who agrees that they'd rather have 1 million followers by show of hands? Okay, who would rather have $1 million? Okay. What would you do with the $1 million, sir? Compound interest form your retirement. Okay. Okay. I respect everybody's opinion. I can tell you $1 million, dude, you ain't ready to retire. Okay. But I appreciate your honesty. Because not everybody wants to actually have a following, right? So that's one question. Okay. Next. Would you rather me give you $100 million cash, or would you rather earn and work really hard for 40 million? That's an interesting question, right? First time I heard it, I'm like, I don't know how to answer that. Like, I'm not lazy. I want to earn. I don't want people to just give me stuff, right? What's the answer? What do you think? What's your answer, Terrell? Also, getting to know people's names and relationship stuff is super important, right? Like, I had a manager a decade ago that said, dude, when you get within 6 feet of someone, warm them up. Okay? He said, warm them up, right? What do you think?
Can I give you my thought process through it?
Go for it.
So my thought process through it, if you give me $1 million, I know to do the right things with it. I don't know how to get it back. But if I work for the 40,000, then I know how to get the 40,000 again.
Sure. Okay, that's actually, you know what? I like the thought process, right? Also, why do you think I chose Terrell when he raised his hand and gave him the mic? Dude, sit in the front. I said Jonah and Terrell, we actually have assigned seats for everybody, and you guys are right in the middle, second row. It was a joke, but they sat in the front, right? So thank you. Give it up for them, by the way, for doing that, okay? Thank you. Okay? Now, that's a tough one, right? That's a tough one. Who else, by show of hands, who else agrees with Terrell? You'd just rather earn the 40 million so that you could do it over again in the future, okay? Who would rather me just give you $100 million and then the dude in the back can actually retire, okay? Okay, all right, good, okay, good. Those are the questions you gotta be asking yourself. I want you to write down three questions, okay? If you wanna do something, whatever you want to do, the first question is, what do I ultimately want? You may say, all right, I'm 19, I'm 20, I'm 21, I'm 22, I'm 23, I'm 37, whatever, right? And you may be like, dude, I don't know what I ultimately want yet. It doesn't mean you can ask the question and start to answer the question, right? Because you can start to figure out what you ultimately want. Ask yourself, what do I ultimately want? You may not know it yet, but trust me, you need to spend some time asking yourself that. Okay, Brooke, how much time I got? 30 minutes? Okay, perfect. Just kidding. 10. Okay. Second question. What do I have to sacrifice to go get number one? What do I have to sacrifice, or what do I have to do to achieve number one? When you say I ultimately want X, like for me, I want to own we're flying private more. The team and I are flying private next week to Orlando and back. But I want to own a jet, right? I've always wanted to own a jet. I've also always wanted to speak. My grandfather was a Baptist pastor for many years. He passed away a couple years ago. I saw him speak for my entire life. And when I was 10 years old, watching him standing up here, I was like, man, I want to do that, one day, right? May not want to do it in the form of a pastor, even just a pastor for business owners, but I want to do something to where I'm speaking to people, right? Who else is watching me today and you're kind of thinking, dude, it would be kind of cool to speak one day? Most of you will not raise your hand, okay, but some of you are. Okay, cool, good. We put out a lot of content to help speakers. So the second question was, what do I have to sacrifice or do to get it? Third question, am I willing to meet that demand? For me, if I ultimately want, we're just going to make it up. We'll just say the jet. Okay, we'll just use the jet. I want a lot of stuff. Like my wife and I are in the middle of acquiring and buying the 160 Grand Prix, the go-kart track, just south of Springfield, 3 miles south of Springfield. Who's heard of it, by the way? Okay. Who's been in the past? Okay, cool. Who's going to go again now that you know that I'm buying it? Okay, good. Okay, good. Let's just say I ultimately want a jet. Okay? Or actually, let's use an example. Give me, who knows the answer of what you ultimately want? Or you at least think you know, or right now you're at least fake it and give me an answer. Sure.
I want to be able to live a valuable life and spend time with my family.
Live a valuable life and spend time with your family. Okay, great. So what did you write for number 2?
What do I have to sacrifice?
What do you have to sacrifice and do to get it?
Depends on how you're going to get it. Either you sacrifice making a lot of money to have a lot of time, or you sacrifice having a lot of time to make a lot of money to do something.
Yeah. Good answer, right? Great answer. Yep. Okay. And then third, am I willing to meet the demand? Like some of you want to own your own company. True. Who would like to own your own business one day? Okay. It ain't for everybody, by the way. Most businesses fail. 76% of all businesses in the U.S. have less than 27 days of free cash flow, which means they don't make money for 28 days, they're out of business. It ain't for everybody, okay? It ain't for everybody. But some of you want to. Well, what do you have to sacrifice? Time, mental health, energy, money. We spent $500,000 in our first conference. I only brought in 300. I lost 200 grand. Did it build the brand and is it totally worth it when I do it again? Absolutely. But some of you don't want to do that. That's okay. You don't have to. That's a lot to give up. That's a lot to sacrifice. But you got to ask yourself, am I willing to meet the demand? Because to make it in a company, you have to do whatever it takes, ethically, whatever it takes. Like if it meant, like for me, when I was 20, I'm going to school, I'm playing basketball, and I'm knocking on like 250, 300 doors a week. Now, was I willing to meet the demand? Apparently so. But 92% of insurance agents fell in their first 3 years. That's what we call the conference 8% Nation. Most people do not make it, right? Most people will not do whatever it takes. They say they want to make, like my book, 0 to 6 figures, that I don't have here today. A lot of people don't want to make 6 figures, which is cool, but those that do, they say they do, but then they won't put in the work to do it, right? That's the problem with our world. It's like we want instant gratification. Dude, I've been doing this, like building a brand YouTube thing for 6 years. Has it been tough? Absolutely. Has there been not fun stuff that's happened? Sure. Here's a marketing tip for you. I got a letter in the mail from an attorney in New York that said, hey, my client is blind and she went to CodyAskins.com to look for an insurance agent, and your site, this was a couple years ago, your site's not ADA compliant, so we're suing you. It wasn't fun. I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. I want to give the breakout times and stuff before I end. What, I got like 5 minutes, Brooke, or less? Where are you at, 5? Okay, cool. Any questions for me while we're hanging out? Sorry if I was a little intense. I get excited. Who enjoyed this session specifically? Okay, cool. Who enjoyed Landon's session? And who's also glad you're like, dude, it was good. It was good for me to come here. Because I need to be thinking about what I'm doing in the future, not what I'm doing tonight. Because in the grand scheme of things, what you're doing tonight does not matter. Okay, who has a question? We're going to at least get one. Okay, there we go. Yes, sir.
Do you prefer the insurance world or the influencer world?
That's a great question. That's a phenomenal question, by the way. Do you prefer the insurance? What's your name?
Mason.
Mason asked, do you prefer the insurance world or the influencer world? I would say for me, I'm more passionate about getting known and helping people in the world. Like we'll have millions of followers one day. I'll be flying private all over the world, speaking to people, speaking to an audience of 10,000. I could see me speaking to 50,000 in Dubai one day. Like, those are the kind of conversations I'm having myself. I would say that I'm an entrepreneur and someone that enjoys businesses and marketing and promotion more than just insurance, right? So, which is a great question, but because I succeeded in this niche, it's the niche that I'm going to get known in and explode and help and grow, and then I could see the brand evolving outside of this niche, right? So it's a great question. Okay, I think we had one other raise. Was it to you, Terrell, that raised your hand a second ago?
Yeah, I had a bunch for you.
Yeah, a bunch for me. Okay, good.
Yeah, but this is my phone, so I'm not off the top of my head. So, you said that you were doing this in college. What advice would you give to a college student now who is pursuing a degree but also just launching a business?
Terrell says, what advice would you give for a college student that is currently launching a business but also getting a degree? Yes? Okay. I would say that one of the things that I did well in college is I time blocked. And also, I had a tendency to kind of be a little bit of a hypocrite and say, you know what, I'm going to do this, and then I wouldn't do it later, which isn't good. It does not help you create success in the world. Like, if you're like, okay, I'm working out in the morning, right? Everybody in the world's like, I'm starting dieting on Monday. It's like, dude, why can't you start now, right? Well, I know for me, I was committed that I'm going to class. I'm not skipping school. I think Kelly said she's only missed like one class her whole MSU career, and it was public speaking. I'm like, that's the one you should have went to, okay? But I like to block out time. And then when I'm not in school and I'm not doing something, I need to be doing something to move the needle, right? So when you have a business, you're either promoting, prospecting, or selling. That's it. As a business owner, you're doing one of three things. You're promoting what you're doing so other people know what you're doing. You're prospecting for customers and pushing that out in the world, or you're currently closing deals and you're actually running the appointment of the person that you prospect. That's it, right? That's it, okay? Great question. So I think the biggest thing you can do if you have a business is give yourselves a goal. This is not going to be popular. Everybody thinks you need realistic goals. If I had realistic goals, I would be a lot further backwards than I am right now. I believe in the opposite. Like, I believe in, hey, if I want to eventually make six figures, let's think about making $1 million and I'm going to make six figures for sure, right? So I think a little differently, right? But I can tell you, I would want a target. Like, here's what we're going to do in the next 12 months. And you may say, I'm going to dial it back because I'm in college, I'm doing this, whatever. I have a girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever. You could dial it back, but you need a target. You need a goal. You need something specific that you're shooting for. You won't ever hit anything if you have nothing to aim at, right? So I believe no matter what it is, you need something you're pushing for. If you love this video, you know I got another one that you're gonna love. I got a video just to your right here. Click on that, it's gonna be amazing. You're gonna love it, and I'll see you in there.
Yeah, my exact thing is, if you're not running 30 appointments a week.
Yeah, you don't relate it to a dollar
part-time.
amount. You relate it to
Appointments.
appointments, yeah.
Yeah, and the same thing. Again, I did this